Greetings. Once again, I'm George Boston Rhymes on YouTube, Boston G.B.R. channel, the People's Channel. I'm in Valdosta, Georgia, in the county of Lowndes and in the state of Georgia, in the United States of America. I realize that the people in Switzerland, Germany, Japan, and other areas around the nation and the world are listening to and watching what's going on here in Valdosta, Georgia. I'm sitting behind the scales and balance this morning, April the 19th, 2013, because I want to say to the world, yesterday in a metro city in the United States of America and in the state of Georgia, 1,500 to 2,000 American citizens gathered on the Lowndes County courthouse steps to recognize and to energize and to show that we still have a symbol of love and a desire for justice concerning the deaths of Mr. Kenneth Johnson and Jacqueline's son, Kendrick Johnson, that died on January the 11th, 2013 in the Lowndes County High School gymnasium, and questions from the family and the community have not been answered. The family were denied the right to even view or to identify their son after he was found dead in the Lowndes County gymnasium approximately 9:30 a.m. Now questions have arose that the coroner was not called or did not come to the scene until approximately 3 or 3:30 that afternoon. The Johnson family have been on the streets of Valdosta for 2 weeks, demanding justice from Sheriff Crime, the G.B.R, and all law enforcement officers in the state of Georgia. So on yesterday at 6 o'clock, there was a candlelight visual. People from the Justice League United out of Blackshear, Georgia was there. NAN, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Let me correct that. National Action Network, which is Al Sharpton's group of MSNBC, was there. The NAACP was there. Women's organizations was there. The SCLC was well represented. We had people from around the state of Georgia and outside of the state of Georgia to converge on the Lowndes County Courthouse to demand equal justice under the law. However, did you not know that today on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times in a metro city, listen please, a metro city in South Georgia, this is the day following a major historic demonstration, and not a picture on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times. And this is our only daily newspaper locally. And so we must ask the question today, as I've been highlighting on this channel for a long time. Sooner or later, the world is going to wake up to what a real democracy looks like and does not look like. Now, how could it be that a city, home of Moody Air Force Base, where our sons and daughters come to put their lives on the line if necessary in the defense of this nation, home of Valdosta State University, where our children come from around the United States and around the world to attend college. Our sons and daughters attend Georgia Military College here in Valdosta, Georgia. They go to Wiregrass Technical College. They come to frequent Kendaloo Golf Course, Francis Lake Golf Course. They come to visit Wild Adventures theme park. And yet, as they sit, all of these people sit at various restaurants and sit down this morning to read and to see what is happening in their community. It is not in the Valdosta Daily Times. This is our source of information. And this is what I have been saying to you, my beloved American people, and the people in Switzerland. You are watching my YouTubes. This lets you know what I'm talking about. So, it seems as if though there is a tree that fell in the forest on yesterday with 1,500 to 2,000 people watching. Yet, you don't know nothing about it as far as the day following the event. I'm not here to criticize anyone. After all, this is a private, independent newspaper. They report or ignore what they would like, and that's okay. But I also have a right to follow what is recorded in St. John, in the Holy Bible, we believe, 8th chapter and the 32nd verse, which reads, "And ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free." Now, this proves what I have been saying, that we have 31 jail deaths from 1994 to 2009. Yet, it's not reported in any South Georgia news media outlets. From 2009 to present, we don't know how many jail deaths. And now, since the death of Kendrick Johnson at Lowndes County High School, and what has been published in the Times, and we appreciate them publishing it, that the coroner had problems with the way this particular death was handled. But in the eyes of people of intelligence, at least average intelligence, is another question. That question is, if this accident, homicide, or murder was handled like this, is some of the other 31 deaths that we have on record, just maybe the coroner was not called to some of these deaths in the jail, and maybe that's why the district attorney, David Miller, and our local judges, and I do mean the local judges of the Southern Judiciary and the Georgia Bar Association, can allow people and citizens and retired veterans and active duty military veterans at Moody Air Force Base to keep crying out for justice, and their cries are ignored. It is indeed time for the people of Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and the United States of America to say to the people, to the government in Valdosta and Lowndes County, that we have suffered too long. We have bled too profusely to see what we see in this world today. If the people do not like President Barack Obama because of the blackness of his skin and kin, that's one thing. But it is indeed another thing when we sit and we watch the major news scribes, the scribes of this dispensation, to ignore the news that are concerning black African Americans and white people, then we have some problems here in Valdosta. And it has began to, this particular death is beginning to shine light on what we have been saying in the civil rights movement for the last 30 to 45 years here in Valdosta and in South Georgia. Do you not know just 18 miles away that the Quitman 10 black African Americans have been charged and brought up on voter fraud? Now, we need to look into David Miller, the Assistant Attorney Brad Shealy, as well as the G.B.R. agent that we have been told and have it documented on video that people were intimidated during the investigation of the Quitman 10. We now understand that there will be another trial coming up, planned, that is, April the 25th in Brooks County concerning the alleged absentee ballot mishandling, etc., etc. But I want you to know that this is what happens here in South Georgia. The last Quitman Free Press, and I do have a copy of it, I didn't bring it with me, but in there, when you get a copy of the Quitman Free Press, you will see a one-sided story reported about the Quitman 10+2. You will also find out that there is something gravely wrong in how all news media, for the most part, is gathered and distributed here in South Georgia. I also want to say to you, please watch your television station. See how many black African Americans are employed in key positions in any newspaper or news media outlet here in South Georgia. Moreover, look at how many black judges are sitting in the seat on the Southern Judiciary. So we still have major problems here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, and South Georgia in general. Now, you may wonder, why is all of this unfolding now? With the representative of Al Sharpton stood and gave a powerful message yesterday directly to the sheriff of our county, directly to our elected officials, Nan out of Tifton, Nan out of Macon, Nan out of Atlanta. But the news media undoubtedly has said that the revolution will not be televised. Do you not know this is the same paper that ignored the re-election of our 44th president, President Barack Obama? When President Obama was re-elected, not one picture was on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times. In fact, there was no picture in the paper of the president in the Valdosta Daily Times. Wait a minute, gonna get better in a minute. Thomasville Enterprise, no picture of the president on the front page, but a picture of Mitt Romney and the fact that he won the state of Georgia. Moreover, the Madison newspapers, two of them, not one of them carried a picture on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times. So now I'm asking you a question. Why should any black person send their son and daughter into foreign nations to fight and die to protect the rights of foreigners? Let me say it again. Mr. Al Sharpton, listen to me, please. Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, listen to me, please. Eric Holder of the Justice Department, listen to me, please. To the President of the United States, listen to me, please. Please listen to me. If the young people can come out to a public meeting here in the state of Georgia, 2,000 strong, and then they are ignored in the front newspaper, ignored on the radio, ignored on some of your television stations as if though a tree fell in the forest and they are of no value, then what in the hell or heaven can we expect from our young people? If they feel like they followed your rules, they have followed your laws, they have done everything that they can do to try to get justice restored to a place that won't even tell their story, then I'm asking you, Mr. Justice Department Eric Holder, why don't you call me sometime? Why don't you call the people in Valdosta? Why don't you call the people in Brooks County on that alleged voter fraud and come in here and look and see what's going on? That was the first time in Brooks County that blacks was the majority on the Brooks County Board of Education. Now, Mr. Eric Holder, do you not know that Brooks County is the home of the May return of lynchings, what is called the Week of Terror, when 15 to 25 blacks was murdered, and yet nothing has been done about it? Do you not know, Mr. Eric Holder, that Valdosta and Lowndes County are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths, but everybody is pretending that the tree did not fall here in South Georgia? We vote people into office to go to the Georgia General Assembly to represent us, and yet we don't know what's going on. We don't know what they're voting on. We don't know what's going on in our own community, with 2,000 people ignored from the only daily newspaper that we have. And so what we have here in Valdosta is a group of people, veterans, active duty veterans, firefighters, retired firefighters, educators, retired educators, men, women, and children from foreign nation visitors, don't know what in the heaven is going on, because the news is being controlled, suppressed, and abated. Now, when you finish this video, I'm going to put a video up of what took place at this meeting. And I want you to ask yourself, why, like the 31 jail deaths, why the equipment 10 are not being published, and the fact that they are professional with college degrees, why it has not been published? Why is it that a meeting over in Whitman in July was not televised, not advertised, and the people that was run, well, I'm not going to get into that, I'm getting off point, but I want you to know that there was a meeting over in Whitman that dealt with major election irregularities. Yet Brian P. Kemp, the Secretary of the State of Georgia, listen please, Brian P. Kemp, the Secretary of the State of Georgia, we watched his investigator come down and make promises to the voters in Brooks County that he was going to get back and that there would be a thorough investigation concerning the allegations of even have to show an ID card or a driver's license just to get a copy of an absentee ballot application. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. All this has been documented on my playlist. I'm going to put it beneath this video. But more than that, my question started out being, how could it be that all these things could happen and yet the general public not be informed? I think there's something other even more disgraceful. Valdosta is said to be a metro city. How they got that status to heaven if I know. America's Georgia got from 4 to 5 to 7 newspapers over there, yet we only have one newspaper locally. It is as if though somebody is in a clique and among the slicks, and they don't want the truth to get out because they are fighting against the Jesus and the Muhammad and the Buddha or whatever good faith that you serve or worship the Creator under. It seems as if somebody is the enemy of that God. And so they don't want you to have the truth because they know that the truth will set us free. And they do not want you free, my beloved brothers and sisters. And so I want to say to the people in power, how do you expect in truth for people to come and live in Valdosta and to frequent what we have here, the establishments, if we can't stand up for justice in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia? I'm saying to you, I do what I do because I put my life on the line for over 20 years in this man's army during the Vietnam era and other wars like the Kuwait. And I'm telling you, this, as the brother said from Nan on yesterday that were ignored, this will not go away. I am 100% sure that one day change is coming to Valdosta, Lowndes County, and South Georgia in general. Georgia cannot continue the way she's going and remain peaceful. If there is no justice for everybody, then there should not be justice for anyone. It's just that simple. So I'm going to say to you, I'm going to continue this. I cannot quit because God have decreed some of us, according to St. Luke 4:18, for the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and He's anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, and the recovering of sight to the blind, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. These are words that we are taking seriously. A white Caucasian historic woman spoke yesterday. Lee Touchton asked the question, how many white people are here? And she asked them to raise their hands, and they raised their hand. And there were so few until she said, we got to help educate white people because they too need to be liberated. But you don't have to take my word for it. Just a few more hours now. you will be able to watch what the Valdosta Daily Times, as she has always done, determine for you what is published and what is not published. Now, they may put it in the paper tomorrow, but it don't work like that. It just don't work like that. When Jack Kingston come here, the next day, the paper, beyond a doubt, is full. In fact, the second day is full with pictures of the Honorable Jack Kingston. If Oliver North come to Valdosta, and when he did come, his picture on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times, the day following his visit, he was on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times. Now, if you think I'm lying, call me on it, because I keep the record. I guess you could call me the record keeper. But above all, let me go down as peacemakers for justice. Let me go down as one who loved the scales and balance. And I want the mothers and the fathers and the sisters and the brothers of those 30 to 100 deaths in the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail to be recognized in the United States of America. I want somebody to cover that. Eric Holder of the Department of Justice, he can't say that he don't know what's going on in Valdosta. President Barack Obama cannot say he don't know what's going on in Valdosta, Georgia. Nathan Deal, governor of the state of Georgia, cannot say that he do not know what is going on here in Valdosta, Georgia. When people from Germany and Switzerland are calling and are writing about Valdosta, Georgia, as the Al Sharpton representative said on yesterday, but it's not recorded to tell you, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. I'm going to close. The next clip that I put up, I'm not going to put another clip up except what happened on April the 18th here in Valdosta, Georgia. Now do you see? Now do you see what I've been talking about? Let me move the scales for a minute. Can the people of America see what I've been talking about? Can you understand what I've been talking about? Can you taste the flavor of my nature or the nature of my flavor? Can you feel what I've been talking about? Can you feel it now, Reverend Jesse Jackson? Can you feel it now, Minister Louis Farrakhan? Can you feel it now, Reverend Joseph Lowry? Can you feel it now, Representative Tyrone Brooks? Can you feel it now, Mr. Bill Clinton? Can you feel it now, former President Jimmy Carter? Can you feel it? Can you taste it? That something is wrong in Valdosta, Georgia, and it is indeed time for justice to come home to our men and women now serving with their lives on the line in foreign nations to protect and preserve the rights of others. Yet it seems as if though ours are going to hell in a handbasket here in South Georgia. And the sad thing about it, it seems as if though we don't care. The call was sent out yesterday, but you don't know nothing about it. And they said these words at this particular candlelight vigil. If your pastors are cowards here in Valdosta and Lowndes County in South Georgia, if blacks in particular, if our pastors are cowards here in Valdosta, then the people who follow these cowards are cowards as well. And those children who follow the children who follow the cowards are cowards as well. I didn't say that. It was said at this public meeting last night in the state of Georgia. But you don't know nothing about that because somebody chose and determined that the revolution would not be televised. Somebody said that Jesus is a liar and that you shall not know the truth. And yet, you'll be free. Somebody had better stand up for what is right in God's world or this republic will go down the path of ancient Rome. We can take it, we can believe it, or we can let it alone. And so I'm going to say to all of you, don't listen to me in this regard, as if though I'm doing the story about what took place at this meeting on yesterday. I'm simply asking you to watch the video I'm about to post in a few hours, and then you're going to have the rest of the story. And this is why I do what I do. When my commander told me to go into Vietnam, every military person, you had to obey them orders. When they told you to go into Kuwait with that M16, not knowing what chemical weapons was in your environment, you had to go. And when they called you to go to Panama, you went. And when they called you to go into Germany, you went. And when they called you to go on secret missions with the Green Beret, you go. And when you get aboard the ships, then they tell you to go to the farthest island of the planet of Earth, you got to go. And so why is it that you can go and elect people to represent you in government, and then like Valdosta and Lowndes County, they push you to the end of the agenda, as if though the people of America does not have a voice. They don't want to hear from you. They want to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind to the times, and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts. And I believe it is time for a change. What about you? Once again, I'm George Boston Ryan. Who are you, and what are you doing to build a better United States of America? Or will you accept what they are thrusting down our throat?